Hello, everyone. If you can confirm me that both the sounds and the image are okay. Okay, so let's start. So, like every month, the point of today's live is to discuss about what we have done in October, so the last month, and on what we are going to work in the month of November. We're going to discuss about numbers, data, and so on and so on. So let me share my screen. And let's start. So first, the treasury. So now we have $165,000 of treasury. It is, of course, lower than the previous months, but it's for a few reasons. First, we're going to discuss about it a bit after when we discuss about what the governance have done in the past month. But basically, there was some spending. So, for example, you can see here, we have spent $110,000 in some Beefy, let's say, in the Beefy vault. So we're going to discuss about it. We have a big debt. So we have borrowed 65,000 USDC and 54,000 jEUR. But you're gonna see that it's like the treasury, if you remove this, actually, of course, has grown. So the past months we have received 15,000 UMA, which equals to 183,000 USD. So 80% is kept by the treasury, and as usual, 20% have been sent to the liquidity provider. 307 USDC have been received on the mainnet and 4.2 thousand USDC on Polygon. Those are the trading fees that are being captured by the treasury. About the ecosystem, sorry, maybe I've been a bit too quick on the treasury. I wanted to mention a few things first. We have our position on Curve, which is now quite interesting. If you remember, we had borrowed funds a few months ago. I think it was 25K, and we have bought Curve token. And unfortunately, when we were buying, it was in market condition where CRV was kind of high. And now, with the current valuation of the CRV token, we are close to 30K. Also, our CVX and Sushi position are doing good. And lately, we're going to discuss it after, we have invested in ClimDAO, and we have invested 2K something, and now we're making money there. Of course, most of our treasury is in UMA. Now we have 17,000 UMA. And again, we're going to discuss a bit more detail about the spendings and the results, basically, of those spendings and what it helped to have done. So the ecosystem. We are at $6 million of TVL. Of course, most of the TVL is on Polygon. If you want to follow it, you can go on DeFi Llama and just type GRT in the search bar. So it was very interesting to analyze that. So of course, there was an explosion of the TVL here when we started the farming program on Kyber. But then there was a constant progression after we started working with Beefy and Harvest. So without any doubt, Beefy and Harvest helped us to grow our treasury and also to have more people aware about the project. So about the mainnet, we have something around, let's say $600,000 of TVL, $515,000 of jFIAT. You have the breakdown here if you're interested. About the liquidity, one can buy up to, let's say, almost $1 million worth of synthetic assets So we have decided, even though we are deserting Ethereum, we have decided to keep a bit of liquidity there, because we never know if people wants to buy or sell there. There is still the fiat on and off ramp of Montpellerin on the mainnet also. So for now, we have decided to keep it. That doesn't mean that we will keep such a big amount for a while, because honestly, I doubt that $1 million will be bought on the mainnet. And since we want to focus a bit more on Polygon and on more blockchain, it's very likely that some of the liquidity will be withdrawn and be deposited in another chain. On SushiSwap, there are still $23,000 of liquidity. I don't know who have kept their liquidity there, but my advice is remove it. I know that the fees on Ethereum are actually incredibly high, so maybe this is the reason why some of you have kept their liquidity there. But if you want to save on the fees, there is something cool that we can do. You withdraw from SushiSwap. You send the jEUR to our Jarvis LP address. So I can send it to you if you send me a private message, for example. And we can do a cross-chain OTC deal where basically you send us a jEUR on the minute and you receive the same amount of jEUR on Polygon. About the volume, there was some volume actually last month, surprisingly. $307,000 have been bought and sold on Jarvis Exchange, and $511 on SushiSwap. And as for the commission, $614 have been paid by traders on the minute against $1.5 on SushiSwap. But of course, the most interesting for us is Polygon with a TVL of $5.4 million. You have here the breakdown. Liquidity right now, one could buy up to $2.7 million of jFIAT. And you can sell up to $4.5 million. So all of this is, of course, without slippage, as you know. On Kyber, this was unexpected $9.2 million of liquidity. Honestly, when we designed the liquidity mining program for Kyber, we calculated that with $3 to $5 million of liquidity, the farming program will provide their participant with a decent yield. When I mean decent yield, it's something above 50% APR, which could translate into 70 or 80% APY. But it was a bit more successful than, again, what we anticipated. Most likely it's because of Beefy. I know say thanks to Beefy and Harvest. Regardless, we have $9.2 million worth of liquidity there. As per the volume, we are on an all-time high for this month. So $8.4 million have been traded on Jarvis and $4.6 million on Kyber, which is translated into $8.4 thousand of fees paid on Jarvis. And for Kyber, as usual, I can't say, but we are working now on a Dune analytic dashboards, which will allow us to track more accurately those numbers. So altogether, actually, it was quite impressive. Almost $13,000 of $13 million, of volume on Polygon for this month. And of course, this is thanks to the farming program. About the on and off ramp, so actually I will do a bit more charts for the next month so we can see a bit more the evolution of the volume and so on. But here you have the first month up to the month of October. So it was also all-time high. Last month we did $440,000 worth of on and off ramp. You have here the breakdown. 106,000 for the off ramp and $330,000 of the on ramp. Of course, the on ramp is the sexiest thing ever, because here it means that there are people who decide to move 330,000 euros from, I mean, not only euros, for euros, Swiss franc, and a bit of pound. I mean, I even don't know what is this transaction, $18, from the banking system to Polygon. And this is pretty cool. Of course, the off-ramp is very cool. It's people who are cashing out and basically sending money from Polygon and Ethereum to their bank accounts. But let's remember that on-ramp, it literally means these people are uploading their fiat into Polygon and Ethereum. Of course, this growth is driven by the farming program. And it shows that even though many people may see farming as how to say, non-sustainable on the long term, because actually you spend money to have this growth. I mean, we have spent money in rewards in order to have $8.4 million of volume last month. We have spent money in rewards in order to have $437,000 of volume in the fiat and on-ramp. But doesn't mean we will be able to do it, forever. At some point, we will run out of tokens. But the thing is that you have to understand liquidity mining is just marketing expenses, because what I see here is more people who are now aware about our solutions, more people who know that they can buy or sell synthetic fiat without slippage on Polygon, that they can buy most of the token listed on QuickSwap, again with almost little to no slippage, and this solution on the fiat on and off ramp. And this is what I think was the most interesting from the past month, is that there is clearly way more awareness in our product. And in total, last month, as you can see, it was $999,000 worth of fiat on and off ramp. And as you may know, we have already overpassed this, I mean, maybe one day after. So what we have done this month. So you have to remember something. We had some plans. We were supposed to work on a few things, but in September, UMA told us that basically they won't be able to do the bridges that we needed. So no Binance BSC bridge, no Avalanche bridges. And it was very bad because we were expecting those bridges in order for us to go on BSC and Avalanche and so on. So we have decided to do something a bit drastic. Instead of just waiting for a potential bridge and just staying on Polygon and maybe missing some good opportunities on BSC and Avalanche and other blockchains, we have decided to actually fork our own protocol and to basically do Syntherum version 2. So the main difference between the V1 and the V2 is that the V2 only use Chainlink as a price feed, so there is no more the DVM for the dispute and liquidation mechanism, which means that the protocol on Ethereum and Polygon will remain powered by the DVM, but on other blockchains it will be entirely powered by UMA. Sorry. Okay. So that's all for the V2. Then we have the liquidity. So the things that we have worked on, the new liquidity pools and new self-minting contracts. So we have done the Solidity code as well as, of course, the unit testing. Just give me 1 second. I have to do one quick thing, and I'm coming back. Just have to. Sorry, I'm back. What we were, yeah. So as I was saying, so we worked on the self-minting and the liquidity pool V2. So Solidity plus testing, we have finished it. And that's pretty much it. Then we have worked on the fixed rate demo. So fixed rate demo, if you remember, we have two kinds of synthetic assets. We have the floating rate, euros, the Swiss franc, and so on, and the fixed rate. And fixed rate are basically currencies which are pegged to another currency. So for example, the CFA, the BGN, or the FRF are pegged to the euro. So fixed rates, it's different contracts, and our Jarvis Exchange UI doesn't interact yet with those contracts. So in order to save on time, instead of working on integrating those new stablecoins into Jarvis Exchange, we have just done small demos. So you can already try them at cfa.jarvis.exchange, bgn.jarvis.exchange. and future future dash of dash France.jarvis.exchange. So basically, it was being used for events. So we did quite few events last month. And so we demoed the CFA to African communities. We demoed the BGN to Bulgarian communities, and the Français to French communities, of course. Then we released a new website, so I invite you to go to check it, as well as a new documentation, which basically gather everything you have to know about Jarvis. We also started to work on NFTs. So I won't share a lot of information and details now, but just to let you know that the idea is to add some gamification on the top of the protocol. And this will make sense when the V2 will be entirely finished, because the V2, so it's also the transition from the DVM to chaining, but not only. It's also the multi-LP system, the collateral on the yield, as well as something that most of you are waiting for a while now, the implementation of the token economics, which means that it will give utility and to the GRT. And the way we have designed it, and we are still designing it and discussing with a few people, is basically to make the GRT token economics a black hole for GRTs. And on the top of it, there will be some cool NFTs. Then we launched, of course, the yield farming program with a new token, so the Aureus 0112, $9.2 million of TVL for now in the program. We have launched a new yield application. We have worked with Kyber in order to coordinate, because basically we worked with them in order to so the contract to be both integrated in Kyber's UI as well as in our UI. And then we worked on the Beefy and Harvest integration. Of course, a lot of marketings. There were 1 PR, 3 articles, many interviews, many podcasts, many AMA. We participated also to a few conferences. So this was, again, a pretty dense and rich month. And again, the main point here is to try to position Jarvis as a way to go for on and off ramping mainly on Polygon for now, because it's what we try to push since the fees on the gas fee on Ethereum are making it impracticable. So this is what we try to do now. Whenever someone is wondering, okay, how can I jump into the blockchain? How can I go directly on Polygon and soon BSC and so on? The idea is that they have to think Jarvis, especially if they are Europeans or if they live in a country whose currencies is supported by Jarvis. So most of the reason behind all those interviews, podcasts, and yield farming and so on is really this. Also, of course, many cool discussions. So the cool thing when you are live and you have yield farming and people start speaking about you is that many people start, contacting you. And although there is no, specific roadmap or deadline for future partnerships, the one I'm the most excited about will be gold. So we have 2 projects actually working with tokenized gold. Who would love if we were launching synthetic gold, because our synthetic gold will have a very interesting property, as you know. It will be like the jFIAT. But most importantly, it's because it's like a fiat on and off ramp, because you can buy jEUR, as you know, with euros, and then you could convert it right away for gold or this kind of, our synthetic gold and then tokenized gold, for example, in some DeFi curve pool or some. So yeah, it doesn't mean we're going to work on it this year, sorry, but this is really something that interests me a lot. The question is whether there will be demand or no, because yeah, it's true that gold is a big market and we can attract boomers and so on and so on. But I don't know if on-chain gold will be a success. So we'll see. But for sure, next year, we're going to work on metals. Marketplace also. So basically, one of our goal is to position, as I said, Jarvis as the best way to on and off ramp cryptos. But not only, we also would like if our jEURs and other our token we're going to launch are being used. So there are many use cases that I have pushed and I still want to push. For example, one of them is a service to companies. So basically to discuss with companies and to tell them, look, since in Europe you are paying negative interest on your euros or Swiss francs deposits, maybe you may want to swap your dirty euro for our very cool synthetic euros and stop paying negative interest. There are many companies interested into that. Honestly, we had a lot of calls with various companies in France and Switzerland and also in Andorra, for example, or this kind of thing. Every time there is they're excited, but there is a big need of education. Like most of the time, say, yeah, but if it's crypto, what if you steal the money? You know, so a lot of discussions also with them. And I want to push this use case a lot, but the most important thing that we have to work on there will be education. We have to explain to people what it means to be trustless, how does a smart contract work, what are the real risks, and so on and so on. Anyway, so as I said, apart from those use cases, there is one or two use cases that started to come, which I didn't plan on having that early. For example, a marketplace, so where you could buy things online that will use cryptocurrencies and, of course, jEUR. So we will see in the future how this rolls up, but this will be a very cool use case for our stablecoins. And of course, payment systems, derivatives, so in order to do leverage on Forex and this kind of thing. So yeah, it was quite a dense month and maybe one of the most exciting. And again, I think it's, of course, it's because the work paid at some point, but we really owe a lot, I think, to this EL farming program who put a lot of, spotlight on our project. Other cool things that happened this month. So you have the Verso cashback wallet, which has integrated jEUR. So how does it work? Basically, it's a mobile wallet, and they have a place. So you can go to get-verso.com. So you can download it. And the idea of this wallet is that you can shop in many different brands. So they have eBay, Alibaba, Nike, or some hotels. Or I mean, I'll let you go on their website to see. They have almost 200 different brands, Vestiaire, Collective, all those brands. And if you use their links, so basically they have some kind of backlinks. If you click on the links from their wallet, it will open on your mobile, of course, it will open a Google Chrome or Safari page. And there is this backlink. So basically the website knows that you come from Verso. And then you can shop. And if you shop, so if you buy something on one of those websites basically they will give some cashback to Verso, and Verso will receive those cashback in euros or whatever currencies you have used to make your purchase. And this is a cool thing, they will convert it into crypto. Basically, they will buy their own token, which is called the BTU for BTU protocol. And they will give you back those BTU. So the cool thing is that you go on the wallet, you shop on eBay, for example, and you receive, I don't remember the percentage, maybe 1, 2, or 3% in BTU. So you spend 1,000 euro and you receive 20 or 30 euro back in BTU. And what they have done, they have integrated jEUR. So now you can sell your 20 or 30 euro of BTU into jEUR. And this is on Polygon, of course. The cool thing also is that it's a gasless wallet, which means that they have a relayer paying all the transaction fees on your behalf. So even if you do not have Matic token to pay for the transaction fees, you can still receive BTU and sell it if you want. Of course, you can keep your BTU, you can send it to someone else, and other cool things, you can also exchange your BTU for a gift card. So this is pretty cool because it's one way to onboard someone in crypto. And you can also combine it with a cashback on your crypto card. So for example, I'm a user of crypto.com and WireX, and on both cards you have a cashback every time you shop with them. So the cool thing with Verso is that it's not a payment application, it's not a payment wallet, it's just a wallet where you can receive cashback in crypto whenever you shop on one of the brand referenced in their wallet. So what you can do, you go on their wallet, you open eBay, for example, or Vestiaire Collective from their wallet, you shop whatever you want, you pay with your crypto.com card or whatever card you have, and you're going to receive 2 cashbacks. You're going to receive the cashback of crypto.com, and you're going to receive the cashback of Verso. directly in your wallet. And it's pretty cool because you can, by combining them, basically sometimes you can have 5, 6, or even 10% of cashback entirely in crypto. And the point of IntelliJ in jEUR, of course, is to allow people to convert it into jEUR. And if they want to withdraw them in euros using Mon Pèlerin, they could. If they want to earn yield using one of our farming programs, they could, and so on and so on. So it is actually pretty cool, and I invite you to download their application and to give it a try. Another cool integration last month, it was AnySwap, which is a cross-chain bridge. So we only have done it for jEUR for now. So you can trustlessly bridge from Ethereum to Polygon and from Polygon to Ethereum jEUR. So just go on AnySwap and you can directly do it, or even provide liquidity if you want. Some milestones. So we have reached $1 million of fiat on and off ramp since July. It is big and small at the same time. Big because it's $1 million. I mean, it's big round numbers. Small because we will do more, of course, and we will increase a lot of the volume as many more people start knowing about this solution with Mon Pèlerin, and that's pretty much it. So pretty happy with that. We set up some objectives when we started working with Mon Pèlerin. My goal was to do between $50,000 and $100,000 worth of transactions every month. And finally, after 4 months, we have done $1 million. So very happy with that. And I can't wait for them to add more payment solutions, so debit card and credit card support, instant SEPA, more currencies, and many cool other things. We also have reached $20 million of volume. So this month, so this is since we launched in February this year. So of course, most of the volume happened, as you have seen, on Polygon last month, $8.4 million. The rest is basically what have been traded on Ethereum since we launched earlier this year. Here again, $20 million is a big and a small amount. Very happy with this number, but of course the idea is at some in the future to do $20 million per month and then $20 million per day. So the plan, the idea is how we could incentivize more volume. But we just have first to be more known, because it's true that now more and more people are knowing us for a fiat on and off ramp, very convenient for Polygon and soon BSC and so on and so on. But they also have to understand that JS Exchange can process euro to any token. So for European people, it's pretty cool. So we have to work on trading contests. We have to work on basically, to raise awareness about our solution, and to also keep going with our liquidity programs, but maybe to do liquidity programs that are more, let's say, useful for the ecosystem. For example, having curve pool, sorry. Then governance. So right now there are 3 discussions. It's P18 for the free euro pool. So the free euro pool is basically the pool on Curve. We have created a pool on Curve Polygon with PAR from Mimo Capital, jEUR from Jarvis, of course, and Euro S from Stasis. And we are discussing basically this. It is very strategic to have those things up and running at some point, and to do liquidity mining there. And I truly think that it's actually more strategic than the Forex Farming program that we have done until now. But again, the Forex Farming program we have done now was to raise awareness about our solution and so on. But the real use case of our jEUR, it will mainly, it's mainly for curve pool. Just to give you one example. Let's say that you have a euro token like Euro Stasis or PAR, and you would like to access to liquidity and to have access to a nice peg. As you know, jEUR keeps its peg, since on the primary market it is traded against Chainlink, against USDC as a Chainlink price fit. And because of the atomic swap feature, you basically access to the liquidity of USDC. So when someone creates a pool with jEUR or jWhatever and pair it with another stablecoin, basically it gives those stable coins all the features of our jEUR. So the free euro pool is very cool for Mimo Capital, for example, because right now, if someone has PAR, by going through this pool, they will be able to exchange the PAR for USDC at the chaining price fit, or for Bitcoin or whatever, going through basically our contracts. And they don't need anymore, even though they have one PAR USDC pool, they won't need anymore to have a PAR USDC pool. So they could funnel the incentives toward this pool and to grow the pool on Curve. Also, Euro pool are more strategic and more interesting than a Forex pool because people, they forget that a Forex pool is actually volatile. The value goes up, goes down, you have impermanent loss. So yes, sometimes you could actually lose money. While in a Euro pool, you have somehow no impermanent loss. You have it, but since it's impermanent loss in somehow the same token, you feel it a bit less. And it provides user with the possibility to have some kind of euro selling accounts. And of course, because it's on Curve, you can after think about receiving Curve reward. So this is very strategic and it's a very interesting discussion. And I know that some community members who are quite involved in Jarvis, they will soon make a formal proposal. So make sure to go in on our Discord and share your vision about it. To Polygon, and to do so to stop the liquidity mining on SushiSwap and ask them to transfer it to Polygon. But so far, no interest. So I guess this will never become a proposal. But you can, of course, participate to the discussion. Another discussion that is quite interesting also. It's a community member who joined us not a while ago, who proposed to replace USDC by GRT. So instead of, for the next program, instead of creating a OR USDC pool, why not creating a OR GRT pool? This will allow for arbitrage, but also every time someone will, or a vault like Beefy will sell OR token, they will buy basically GRT. Because it will be, of course, in our GRT pool. So there are some discussions ongoing there, and again, you can jump in and discuss it. Apart from that, there was many votes last month. So first, of course, there was the vote of the budget for the yield farming on Polygon. So it, of course, was accepted, and the idea was to budget the yield. So what we have done, we have actually, I just now realized that I'm wrong in the spendings I mentioned in the treasury. So first, we have spent for this vote $100,000 worth of UMA and $200,000 worth of GRT. But I'm never counting the GRT since it is in a separate wallet. So we have spent $100,000 worth of UMA for this, and Kyber have added $140,000 worth of incentives. So this was voted. Then we did another vote to pause the sponsoring program on Ethereum V1. So there is no more this program. Then Beefy, I mean, we have a community member called Didi Moon, who is very close to Beefy and who wanted our two protocols basically to join forces. And so in order to participate to Beefy, basically you have to pay. You have to give usually some of your tokens, and your tokens will be used to boost some of their existing vaults. But when we discussed, we decided that actually instead of giving away GRT that will most likely be dumped by people who are not interested about what we do, why we don't actually give them jEURs. So the cool thing is that we decided to give them stablecoins and also Beefy tokens. So we have bought Beefy from the market. And we have given them those Beefy, plus we have given them jEUR. And this was $110,000 worth of incentives. So actually, we have spent $210,000 last month in incentives and basically in marketing. Then someone proposed to do a small bet on KlimaDAO. For now, the bet is positive. We invested $2,500. We have now $3,300. Emperor mode was renewed. And then after Beefy added our yield farming program, another committee member who was in the Harvest community started to discuss about them, about what we do, and somehow they were enchanted and decided to create their own vault with a different strategy. So you have the Harvest strategy, which is different from the Beefy strategy. The cool thing with Harvest is that they didn't ask us to pay anything. It's the opposite. Actually, they have invested money, $30,000 in our program. And as a token of appreciation, we made a proposal, say, hey, they have invested 30K. Let's add a bit of reward on the top of those vaults to boost a bit their yield. And so we have added $20,000 worth of reward, $12,000 in jEUR and $9,000, I think, or $8,000 in jFIAT. I think it was $9,000. So that's all. It was quite a month for the governance, many discussions and many votes. Then what we're going to do next month. So we will launch Synthereum v2.1 on BSC. This will be the first deployment. Then we're going to work on Arbitrum and maybe XDAI. I don't know if we will be able to launch all of those next month, because every time we're going to have to study the environment to deploy in BSC, Arbitrum, and so on, maybe do some changes in the code. But for sure, we're going to launch on BSC and do our best to launch elsewhere. Still working on the UI for self-minting. We will most likely start finally the multi-LP. Remember, we're supposed to work on it in September, but because of the emergency to work on Synthereum v2 with changing price feed, we decided to, of course, postpone it. The collateral yield on Aave, same thing. And we, of course, will start to work on Jarvis Exchange v2, which will feature on-chain liquidity router, so the atomic swap v2, the fixed rate, and a token list, because as you have seen now, we have basically the list, like Bitcoin, ETH, and few other tokens. And you can't add another token. So of course, we're going to integrate token list, so people will be able to trade any token using jFIAT. And that's pretty much it. And about the mythology, we have done this new artwork, which symbolizes the new farming program with Aureus. That's all for this recap. So if you have any question, feel free to ask them now. Okay, so thank you for your time, and then see you next month for another recap. Bye, everyone. Alors, pas de date, no date for now for the staking. It will come after the V2, of course. So we will do it as soon as possible, but I cannot know when. Bye, everyone.